welcome you back to this special edition of the Hilton Head News with Mayor David Bennett. I didn't get to all 6 priorities before the break. The 6th one may be the one most talked about right now by folks. Workforce availability, getting people working on the island to be able to live on the island and be able to work on the island. We only have 7.5 minutes.
I'm not sure I can describe the problem in that time frame, Bob.
Where are we in the process of making that happen?
Well, our Public Planning Committee, under the leadership of David Ames, has picked that issue up and is advancing it. They've had a couple of workshops, so to speak, to try to bring together individuals that are part of the answer and capable of potentially delivering solutions just to begin the conversation. Ultimately, I think the answer for us is going to be found in providing good, quality, affordable housing here on the island and developing a more comprehensive transportation network in the Low Country.
Can they happen together, or does one have to happen for?
No, I don't. They can be done on parallel tracks.
Okay.
You know, there are a couple of obstacles that are standing in our way with respect to providing affordable housing. And one is, you know, there is a program that the federal government established in 1987, and it's responsible for the production of at least 85% of the affordable rental housing being built in America today. And our community continues to be foreclosed from participating in that process as a result of some scoring criteria that have been established. And so I think it's important for us to band together to get those criteria changed that will better enable us to compete. You know, the other opportunity that I think is associated with...
Is that something town council can do, or is it something, you know, who can do that?
Well, in fact, Councilman Ames and I met with Representative Weston Newton just earlier this week about that. I've also had discussions with Senator Davis, Representative Bradley, Bill Herr-Kirschman.
So changes at the state level can help that?
Yes, they can.
This isn't something we got to have Washington, D.C. do?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Actually, these are criteria that are imposed over and above that required by the federal government.
Okay.
Here on the island, I think we have an opportunity, though, to take some of the dilapidated and excess commercial real estate that we have and potentially repurpose it for either new construction, affordable housing, or renovation of those facilities and converting them to housing opportunities. But that, in my mind, is a matter that our entire citizenry ought to weigh in on. It may involve and probably should involve a referendum for the town to acquire those properties and repurpose them and get them set for private development to come in and provide that housing.
As we have with the private lands, the lands that the town has bought to hold back for natural causes. Yeah, maybe another way to go there. Lessons from the hurricane. We're headed into the season. We're coming up on the anniversary. Do you have any feel for a difference in the response this time, or a different way that we're going to handle things on the island?
You know, I think in terms of lessons learned, Bob, I think we probably ought to take a hard look at the amount of reserves that we have on hand. We were very, very fortunate to have $27 million heading into Hurricane Matthew, and that was for a Category 2 storm. In the future, God forbid, that we have an instance where we have an even more powerful storm, it may be appropriate for us to think about increasing those reserves. That would be one. Number two, I would think that we probably ought to work with the county to better understand and better enact some responsibilities for them. We were very fortunate that they agreed to clean up the waterways, but we didn't know that going in. So it might be appropriate for us to work with the county in advance of another disaster and understand that.
Fortunately, we've learned an awful lot, all of us, I think, coming through all of that. The plastic bag ban, county's talking about it. The island, where are you and the council on that?
Well, the council, I think, is looking for the county at this point in time, given our staff
But I think the
workload.
county wants to talk to all the towns too. I think they want everybody in the end to be on the same page.
They
yeah.
do, and I'd like to see some more data
Okay.
to understand what the problem is, what a potential ban could do to resolve the problem. Certainly from an environmental perspective, I think it could be a good symbolic gesture given our history of environmental stewardship. I have seen instances, my family and I were in San Francisco, I think last August at this time, and stopped by the largest marine mammal center in the world, just outside of San Francisco, and saw in very tangible ways the impacts of plastics on our marine mammals. And it was rather eye-opening. So I think it's something we ought to take a hard look at, but I have not made my mind up yet on what the solution should be.
All right, we're still talking. Last thing I want to get into, you and Town Manager Steve Riley co-authored an op-ed piece in the local newspaper recently, which I think gave everybody a good feeling that things are moving well at Town Hall, and that you two can be invited to the same holiday events, and maybe both of you will be there. You guys doing okay?
We are okay.
All right.
I don't know about all the chatter in the community and what the origin of it is, but I guess I would say this. I have a professional business relationship with Steve. Certainly when I came on to council back in early 2015, late 2014, it was a learning curve for me. And as is customary or typical in many new relationships, individuals need to learn how to work with one another and understand how one another communicates and adjust expectations accordingly. And I think Steve and I have both done that in a professional manner. There are no issues.
Good.
And that's certainly important from the public's perspective. On a personal note, I would just share that Steve is someone that I very much care about and want nothing but the best for him and his family. I have a healthy respect for many of his professional capabilities, and again, wish him nothing but the best. So all that to say,
there we go.
Yes, I hope to see him at a Christmas party. He was at my house indeed for one last year,
There you
and
go.
we thoroughly enjoy he and his wife's company.
As long as you're not talking Nebraska football.
We don't talk about Nebraska football.
There you go. Thanks so much, Mayor, for spending the time.
Absolutely. Good to be here today.
We thank you all for joining us as well. We're going to have him back. We're going to keep this thing going on at least a quarterly basis, I hope, going down the road. Thanks for checking us out this week on the Hilton Head News. We'll be checking you out around our island.